Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to tell you to go back Blood and Doom on Kickstarter. Okay, so this thing's got about, I think it's got 10 days left, and I'm telling you right now today, go back it. All right, so what? Scott Garibay telling you to go back a Kickstarter for a brand new tabletop role-playing game? That seems really unusual. It is, right? So what's my, you know me, man. My main jam is Dungeons & Dragons and jack all and nothing else, right? So why on earth would I tell you to go back a brand new tabletop role-playing game Kickstarter? Well, I'll tell you right now. The reason is the response. So I did a video about Blood and Doom from the general context of a competitor to Dungeons & Dragons. And the reality is Blood and Doom is a competitor to Dungeons & Dragons, right? So from that perspective, I do value competitors to Dungeons & Dragons, competitors who compete in good faith, right? Competitors that are coming at Dungeons & Dragons saying, I want to try to defeat you in good faith, right? And I want Dungeons & Dragons in position, and I want to sell more than Dungeons & Dragons, right? And that seems like you're like, well, Scott, why isn't that everything? No, they're literally competitors like, I want to see Dungeons & Dragons go on forever. There's a lot of them, right? And actually, Dungeons & Dragons has a history of competitors coming at it and saying, I want to make sure that you are not available to even be D&D be gone, right? Like, it was shouted in 1983, it was shouted in 2023, and that's not competing in good faith. That's competing in a destructive manner, and I think it's wrong, and I'm against it, right? And Blood and Doom is coming out, and the creators. So I did a video about Blood and Doom competing against Dungeons & Dragons, and Dicetale Games, who creates Blood and Doom, literally came on my channel and gave a very long, detailed, passionate, honest, genuine response. All right, and I'll tell you right now, I do videos every day, and I don't expect anyone to respond. Right, like there's a lot of reasons why people just ignore content, ignore comments. A lot of times people will engage with content with no other purpose than castigating that content. They don't actually want to have any kind of a real conversation, and honestly, I'll tell you that can be very frustrating. So Dicetale Games came on, and they actually fully engaged with the content that I had created about their game, and gave purposeful. And my point in my video was, why on earth would you give 304 pages worth of content away? Because this is incredibly disincenting anyone to give you $1 for your Kickstarter, right? Because if you are giving somebody you give me 304 page tabletop role playing game, you just gave me 16 to 18 months of content. I don't need to buy anything from you, right? So why on earth should you go over to Dicetale Games and Kickstarter and back Blood and Doom? Here's why. First of all, I'm very proud to tell you, I ain't been paid a dime. I've never been paid a dime by any source in the tabletop role-playing game community. People, and by the way, people say, you're a shill, Scott. Shill is now meaningless. It's used against everybody. It's been used against Bob the Builder. It's been used against DM Layer. It's been used against just everybody. Shill is meaningless, right? So it's not meaningless. Anybody in the comments who of my videos or anybody else who you hear say shill, what that means is, it doesn't mean that the person who they're saying shill against is a shill. What it means is that the commenter is unoriginal, cruel, vindictive, almost certainly in a hide account, right? There's hide accounts and there's identity accounts. Every single video I say, hey, my name is Scott Garibay. I'm me. This is real. This is my content. I own every word I say, right? But there's still just an innumerable high amount of these really ridiculous hide accounts, right? Just people still are, I'm Blixelplix75, and I have something to say. I don't own any of it. Nobody knows where I am or who I am, blah, 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 whatever, right? Like, and so, and the thing is, I'm really incredibly impressed with, okay, so let's talk about Blood and Doom. I downloaded the 304 pages. It's good. Good writing, good art, good layout, okay? And this is a genuine, passionate attempt to defeat Dungeons & Dragons, right? That's not, you can't take that for granted. MCDM right now is creating a game a tabletop role-playing game. It's not genuine. It's not passionate, right? I could tell you, it appeared only after the 2023 OGL crisis, and it came directly out of the response to that, right? And so it's not genuine. It's oh, I'm frustrated. I'm vexed with Wizards of the Coast, and it's enough to kick me in my butt to make something. You want that? Do you want a tabletop role-playing game that was literally comes out of frustration and vexation? It's going to be stewed in that frustration and vexation, right? I'm telling you right now, whatever MCDM creates, it's going to be worthless, in my humble opinion. And the reason why is it's not genuine, it's not passionate. Blood and Doom, that guy's been working on this for 2 years, and he invested his life savings in it, right? He risked his life savings for this. It's genuine, and it's passionate, and it's coming from a good source, right? I'm all for a genuine, passionate competition for Dungeons & Dragons. I want the Dungeons & Dragons Dunkin' Donut to have a Blood and Doom Krispy Kreme, right? Blood and Doom is the Krispy Kreme to Dunkin' Donuts, to Dungeons & Dragons Dunkin' Donut, right? It's just and Krispy Kreme legit made Dunkin' Donuts better, very distinctly better, right? And that's what I want. So I really think you should go. And so I'm saying this without a dollar given to me. I've downloaded it. I've read quite a bit of it so far. It's really fascinating. It has a cool world. It has cool player characters. He created his own mechanics, right? This thing has its own mechanics. It is dope, and you should back it on Kickstarter. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Have you backed Blood and Doom? I'd be loved to hear why or why not. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.